Could you have foreseen even a year ago that what could be the biggest event of the year, and we'll talk about Fury Usyk in a minute because that's got a strong claim as well, but one of the biggest events of the year would come as a co-promotion between yourself, Matchroom, and of course HE's team?
Look, however it comes about, whatever it takes to make the biggest event of the year is brilliant. And, we're not, I've said this before, Dan, we're not stupid. We understand the opportunity that what is here for everybody. And we've got to make it work. And we are trying to make it work. And in that capacity, we're pitting our fighters against each other. And that in itself tells you where we're coming from. We're coming from, certainly from Queensbury, from a confident position that we've got a lot of belief in our guys and a belief in what we do and how we bring our fighters through, how we grow them, how we nurture the talent to get them into the respective positions to be able to get into big fights. But what's happening now, and we're getting a lot of them getting into big fights all at the same time. And this 5v5 thing is just phenomenal. It's phenomenal. And I'm telling you, it will be exciting. It will be emotional. It will be, the egos are going to go through the window, and I include mine. And you can imagine what the winner's going to be like. It's going to be unbearable. I'll be totally unbearable, I promise you.
Just on that note, before we move on from 5 versus 5, just send a message, if you would, to your, I don't know, what do we say, rival captain? Well, no, because there is a captain in the tournament. Rival manager, Eddie Hearn, for this amazing concept that we've talked about. What's your message to him ahead of June the 1st?
You better bring your best on, because we're going to have our best there, and our best are the best. Good
stuff. Now, just before I move on to Fury Usyk, I just wanted to ask you quickly, there was a bit of a news story last week involving Dalton Smith, who had a really good win at the weekend over Jose Zepeda, and Adam Azim, who's the European champion at the same weight. Purse bids have been called by both the European Boxing Union and the Board of Control for them to fight. And apparently Boxer have told Matchroom that Adam Azim will not be fighting Dalton Smith next. I don't know if he's officially withdrawn yet. And Eddie Hearn's kind of laid into Boxer a bit over this, called it a bit of a PR disaster. What do you make? It must be nice, first of all, not to be one of the parties involved, but what do you make of it all from the sidelines?
Well, I'm a fan. I want to see the fight. It's a good fight. It's a good fight. Let it happen. Best fight the best. That's what it's all about. It's what we're doing now. You want to be taken seriously. That's what you got to do now. You got to if you have the belief. And let's set it up. From all us promoters, what do we do? We're always talking about our fighters, how good they are, what we believe. And we believe in what we're saying. We believe in what we're saying. But if you really believe in what you're saying, then let the dice roll. And the best man wins. And it's not the end of the world for the loser.
Yeah, I agree. And you've never been averse to putting your young fighters in against each other early in their careers, way back to, Groves the Gale, for example.
Oh, going back well before that, because I believe in that. I think they're learning fights for both the fighters, and it's not. And the one who wins, it doesn't mean it's the end of the world for the loser, as we've seen. You just mentioned that fight. Both of those guys went on to win world titles. So, how good is that? It shows you how good they were as fighters. We've done it on many occasions. Nigel Benning with Steve Collins. Second time we've done plenty of them, plenty of fights over the years, really good competitive fights. And as I say, if somebody loses, it's what they can get out of the fight, what they learn. Are they capable of coming back? It's better you find out now than later. And what I do find out with a lot of these guys when they get beat is they do come again, because they're made of stern and strong stuff. So whoever wins out of Smith and Aziz, whoever it may be, that's brilliant, but it's not the end of the world for the loser.
And Fury Usyk, we've obviously seen pictures last week from Fury's training camp. Looks in, if anything, even better shape than he did before the fight was called off the first time. Having seen that, and you've obviously got a hotline to the camp that we don't, do you think Fury could stop Usyk now rather than just beat him?
I felt he could stop him when the fight contract was signed. I believe he can stop him, and of course he's in good nick. He trained very hard for that fight. I think there's hopefully now even the biggest troll or hater, whatever they call them these days, must now acknowledge he was working very hard, he was training hard, and he got cut. He was in great nick. What is the difference between this and going back into this training camp again? Obviously, he's had a couple of weeks out, but he's not had to go in there losing weight. He's on weight. He's more or less on weight. So he's in great nick, which means you're going to get speed, you're going to get power, and you're going to get a vintage Tyson Fury in that ring.
So do you think he will stop him?
He will knock him out.
Wow. And have you...
I'll say again. He will stop him.
Good. Have you told him to wear a head guard for sparring?
Listen, he had a head guard on. That's what head guards are for.
Sorry, a full face head guard in this case.
Yeah, well, he's got his head guard. That's what head guards, contrary to what people think, they're not there to protect the brain. They're there to protect you from being cut. And unfortunately, it was one of those freak accidents. And we've seen it before, and I'm sure they're going to, hopefully not, but it will happen again to other fighters.
And just finally, on a subject not to do with any of your fighters, Canelo, his next move. David Benavidez put out a public plea to HE, asking him to, he said, you know, you're the only man who can make the fight between me and Canelo. And it seems like HE's responded and said it might be easier to make Benavidez against the winner of Bivol and Beterbiev up at light heavyweight. What do you make of those options? And obviously you've got fighters waiting for a world title shot at 175 as well.
I think that fight at light heavyweight would be a brilliant fight. The winner to fight Benavidez would be a brilliant fight. Great fight to watch.
And then where does that leave your light heavyweights? Anthony Yard, most notably.
Well, they got to continue fighting, haven't they? They've got to jostle and get themselves into position to be mandatory challengers. And whilst they're waiting, the heavyweight division, the light heavyweight division is more or less going to be wrapped up this year. So all these guys, in the meantime, have got to be fighting each other or be involved in fights that get them into a position when the mandatories are called that they're going to be the guys.
Great stuff. Frank, always a pleasure. Really appreciate it. Looking forward to June the 1st. Go ahead. You want to say something?
No, I'm just saying, it'd be great then. I'm looking forward to seeing you, mate. And if you want to come to the Aston Villa game, let me know. Not the Aston Villa, is it? Luton's the next home game. If you want it up for that, let me know.
Mate, I need to get in your box. We've been talking about it for too long.
Yeah, but you mustn't put it out there like that.
All right, brilliant. Well, as we know here, it's in the diary. They already are. Cheers, Frank. Appreciate it. Take care.
Bye. See you then.